I'm sat with someone who I class as one of my oldest and most valued friends. His name is Doug Ashmore, and he's been synonymous with our talking newspaper as a reader and supporter for 30 years, since 1995. So Doug, tell us a bit about yourself, where you were born, which school you went to, and all that kind of stuff. Over to you, Doug.
Well, obviously I was born, I've been raised in Long Eaton all my life. I've lived in Long Eaton. I went to school in Long Eaton, and then obviously, like most people at my age, I got called up to join the forces, and I served in the RAF for a couple of years, various places all over the place. I was lucky enough to be posted to a aircraft establishment, if you like, and I was able to work on Meteor and Vampire jets, and we were given the opportunity to fly in those. When the pilot said, "Do you want to come?" First of all, you said, "I'm not so sure," but once you got up in there, it was brilliant to be able to fly in a fighter aircraft like that. And eventually, I was demobbed, and I came out, and I think that was the problem with. I was sort of restless then. I've been all over the country in various places, but I wanted to go abroad, and I wasn't sure where I wanted to go. But my dad had some connection with a chap who worked for a travel company, and he said, "Go round and see him." And I went round, and this chap said, "Well, look," he says, "you're in a difficult position because it's only 1952, 53, and parts of Europe are still in the problems of recovering from war." So he said, "Why don't you go to Switzerland?" I thought, well, Switzerland, that sounds rather nice. And I made inquiries, and I managed to get a holiday. In fact, it's strange, when Martin started to ask me about these things, I looked back in my photo records, and I found this trip that I went to Switzerland for 10 days for just over £34, which included the boat and the travel and rail travel. I mean, it's a heck of a journey to go out there, you know, all that distance. But what a marvellous, wonderful place is Switzerland. I've been a couple of times there, and since then I've been lucky. I say lucky, I've worked all my life, so sometimes you can say it's lucky and to work all your life like I do, or I've done. And I've had various jobs, and I've been able to go to various places all over the world. I went with my late wife twice to America and to Canada, and then after I lost my wife 24 years ago, I didn't know what to do with myself. I was really, really down and disheartened and everything like that, like you are. And my son said to me, "Well, you got to do something, Dad. You got to get going and get yourself sorted out." So I came home and I picked out the paper. I thought, well, that's interesting. I think I'll go to China. So I booked a trip and I went to China. And what a marvellous experience that was. I mean, I went to Beijing, to the city there, the Forbidden City, and I've walked on part of the Great Wall of China, and also went over to see the Terracotta Army, which is a marvellous thing. I'm a bit doubtful about it. I'm never sure. I don't trust them. I don't think it's real. I think they're all been made in some factory somewhere in Beijing, because it's a sensational thing to see when you go in. First of all, see this Terracotta Army. They're under like giant aircraft hangars, and they go on forever. And there's hundreds of them, army and chariots and horses. I'm a bit unsure about it really, but having said that, it was a great experience. And 2 years before my wife died, my son put us in touch with a school organisation that he was working for on travel, and we were able to go to Russia. So we went to Russia, and we went to Moscow and to St. Petersburg. Again, as I say, I've been very fortunate, and in recent years also, my son now has got his own company promoting different parts of the world, and we've been to Morocco and to Berlin and places like that. I love travel. I really love travel. But based on that, then getting back to things that Martin's asked me about, my main thing over my period of my life has been sport. I've always been involved in sport in one way or another, football, cricket, hockey, and it wasn't until I was in my late 50s that I decided I couldn't run around as much as I used to be able to. And a friend of mine said, why don't you start playing golf? What a most frustrating and annoying game is golf. I mean, it sounds so easy. You put a ball on a tee, you whack it, you go and look for it, and then you hit it again. I mean, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. And I decided to play that, and I played it not very successfully for many years, but it was the people I enjoyed playing with. And unfortunately, the club I belonged to decided to pack in, so I had to find other places to go. And I decided I wouldn't bother. And it was only last year, my son again came to me and said, come on, Dad, get your clubs out. Let's go and knock a few balls about. So we went up to a place called Morley Hayes, which is near Dale Abbey, and knocked a few balls about up there last year on my birthday. September the 7th, by the way, if you want to send any birthday cards, September the 7th is my birthday.
Doug, can I ask, if you don't mind, do you want to share how old you are?
Sorry?
Do you want to share how old you are?
As I said, September 7th is my birthday. Martin said to me, do you want to share how old you are? Well, I normally say when somebody says to me, how old are you? I usually say, well, I'm a day older than I was yesterday, and I thank the Lord for it, because I pray every day and say, thank you, thank you, thank you, I'm still here. That's a major thing, really. So this year, September the 7th, I should be 94. So I'm keeping going, hoping to keep playing golf for some time. I've booked my place for my next tee time next week, sorry. So hope to do that. Also, I've been involved again for many years with good old Talking Newspaper. Thoroughly enjoyed that. And Probus, which I've been a member of for many years. And Oddfellows, which belongs to that. I forgot to mention, incidentally, that in 1966, which is a long, long while ago, I was approached to put my name forward to the local council. And I put my name forward. I didn't know anything about politics. I didn't know anything about local politics. But what had happened was, in the area where I lived, in Derby Road area of Long Eaton, there were two people there who'd been elected year after year after year, and nobody would put up against them. So people persuaded me to put up against these two people. Nice chaps. They did a lot of good work for the council, don't get me wrong. But I was lucky enough to get elected on. And so for 6 years, I served on the Long Eaton Urban District Council as a councillor. And one of the committees I was chairman of for quite a long while, and it went on after I decided to come off the council, was the Duke of Edinburgh's award scheme. And I was heavily involved in the D&V for many, many years. And I was fortunate enough to meet the Duke of Edinburgh on 3 occasions. Once when we had an exhibition and a demonstration at Alfreton Hall, and then the other 2 occasions when we were presented to him at St James Palace and Buckingham Palace. And when we went to Buckingham Palace to meet the Duke of Edinburgh, along with various other people, we arrived, and one of the stewards or whatever his name is there, he came to us, but there was about a dozen of us actually, and he said to us, I'm very sorry, he said, but the Duke of Edinburgh is running late. He said, would you like to have a look round? And we sort of stood there and said, what? Buckingham Palace? So he said, look, it'll be at least an hour. He said, you can go anywhere around here where the doors are open, but don't go anywhere where the doors are shut. So I went into the throne room and the blue room and the white room. I couldn't believe it. I was wandering around as though I owned the place, you know. It was fantastic. It was really brilliant. So I know I diverted myself a little bit there, but anyway, coming back to the present day, shall I say, well, obviously, Talking Newspaper, heavily involved in that for many, many years. I've had to leave it off a little bit lately because I've got other things that have taking up my time and everything like that. I'm living at home on my own, and so I'm keeping going and doing things in my own way, in my own time, but with the help of lots of people like Martin and various other people who are connected with Probus and Talking Newspaper, I'm keeping going. I hope to keep going for many, many years to come.
And Doug, all I can say is thank you. One thing, if I may ask, how did you first get involved with the Talking Newspaper?
With the Talking Newspaper, it was strange really, because my wife belonged to a drama group at St John's Baptist in Long Eaton, and there was a group of people there. I think it was Sam Fletcher and his wife involved there, and I think it was John Perry and his wife, and Margaret and myself were in. Well, she was on the stage. You wouldn't get me on the stage to save my life, but she got involved in that, and I think it was through them that I got involved with that. And when I first started going, I think we used to meet in a house in Cranmer Street, just off Derby Road there. I did that for many years, and then I got obviously involved in other things with the council and things like that. But I came back to it again and thoroughly enjoyed it. Love Talking Newspaper. I think it's a great institution. It's really fantastic. I'm keeping in touch now. Martin keeps me in touch, and my dear friend Liz Raleigh keeps me in touch with what's happening there. And I hope to continue that connection for many years to come.
Well, Doug, I will say on behalf of all of our listeners and everybody who will watch this, thank you for being you. Thanks for agreeing to be interviewed. And we wish you very much success in the future, and may you have many, many more birthdays.